Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time, and in this video I'm going to answer the question, is it possible that states can actually run out of money while trying to pay state unemployment benefits? This is something we really need to take a closer look at because states are running out of funds, and we all expect states to pay out unemployment benefits, but states have many other expenses, including K through 12 education, including providing healthcare, providing assistance to low income residents, and also states essentially provide services, states provide police, firefighters. All of those things, all of that money essentially comes from the states. In fact, let's take a look at how states spend money and how the spending pattern of states has evolved over the years. On your screen, you'll see an article from the Urban Institute, and you'll see that what basically happened was that over a period of time, from the 1970s all the way through 2017, state and local direct general expenditures increased from approximately $1.1 trillion back in the late 70s all the way through to $3.1 trillion in 2017. This is essentially historical data that we have through 2017. So it gives you an idea of the overall trends. And so this is a 178% increase. And basically states are spending way more money. You'll see this chart on your screen that shows you state expenditures over a period of time over the years. So you'll see that the chart begins in the late 1970s and then continues all the way through to 2017. Now, let's start by taking a look at the sections at the bottom of the chart. You'll see that higher education, states pay for K through 12, public schools, all of that money comes from the state. So you'll see that section in yellow, which corresponds to higher education. The section in gray corresponds to health and hospitals. So states pay for higher education. States pay for our children to get educated. States pay for health and hospitals. So you'll see that that expense has sort of stayed relatively consistent over the past 40 years, which is interesting. Highways and roads. Now, that is the section that you see in pink. That has also stayed relatively consistent. Police, corrections, prison facilities, things like that. All of those costs have stayed relatively consistent. In fact, what's interesting about corrections is the cost actually went up from the late 1970s and then sort of tapered down a little bit over the past several years. But look at the section on public welfare. Look at that dark section, that black section, and you can see that the expenditure on public welfare has gone through the roof. States helping low-income citizens, low-income residents, individuals who need help the most. Also, as far as elementary and secondary education is concerned, the expense has actually been going down. Some would argue it makes sense to spend more on children because children basically represent our future. Children and schools need good technology. Teachers need to be well compensated. Teachers need to be well taken care of so that they can take care of our children. But it's up. What you feel about that is entirely up to you. But the fact is that elementary and secondary education funding from states has been declining over the past few decades, and the expenditure on public welfare has been increasing over the past several decades. In fact, spending in all major categories has fluctuated, but public welfare expenditures went up from 13% of state and local general spending in the late 1970s to 22% in 2017. Medicaid is responsible for a majority of the increase in public welfare spending, and the federal share of Medicaid spending also increased from 55 to 65%. Basically, what this means is that states are paying significantly more money for Medicaid. The federal government is paying significantly more money for Medicaid. This is assistance to those who need it the most. And basically, the percentage of state and local expenditures on elementary and secondary education fell from 26% in the late 1970s down to 21%. Let's look at this chart, down to 21% in 2017. But despite that, over the same period of time, the real per capita and per pupil spending on K-12 education has increased. That's a very interesting statistic right there. Now, as you can see, states also spend money on health and hospitals. States spend money on police. Police spending as a share of state and local expenditures has remained at 4% over the entire 40-year period. So that is something that is worth noting. Now, here's another article from Marketplace, which gives you a sense of how states are struggling to make budget. In fact, states are now expected to pay out the state unemployment benefits because a lot more individuals are unemployed more than ever before. And on top of that, states are expected to work closely with the federal government to make sure that the $300 a week goes out. What is happening now is that a dozen states, including California, Delaware, Massachusetts, Minnesota, and Texas have basically exhausted most of the money that they have and have requested federal loans to continue making payments. And these federal loans, by the way, have been approved. So where states stand right now, by the way, states have what's called as an unemployment compensation trust fund. And the money for this trust fund comes from payroll taxes. And so right now, states are actually running short of money. States need money in order to be able to pay out their unemployment benefits. And each state has its own system, has its own formula, has its own software, has its own minimum and maximum benefit amounts. I have done another video on the minimum and maximum benefit amounts that states pay out through their state unemployment system on our channel. It's a very comprehensive video, probably the most comprehensive you'll ever find. So make sure you check that out on our channel. Just go to our channel homepage at youtube.com/ignition-time and search for minimum and maximum state unemployment benefits. And so what's happening right now is that many states, and by the way, this is an article on your screen from Ernst & Young, many states have requested approval, have requested federal loans in order to be able to pay unemployment benefits. And what's happening right now is, as of the 1st of July 2020, 13 states, California, Colorado, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New York, Ohio, Texas, the Virgin Islands, and West Virginia have applied for and have been approved to receive federal unemployment insurance advances. So what happens is, when the state runs out of money, the state basically borrows money, and we use the word advance. The state borrows money from the federal government in order to be able to pay off state unemployment benefits. That is what is happening right now. And as of July 1st, 2020, California, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, New York, Ohio, and Texas currently have outstanding federal unemployment insurance loan balances. And so where things stand right now is that these states actually owe the federal government money. And that is the state of affairs right now. States are essentially running short of funds. A lot of these states are required to pay out, the state unemployment insurance benefits. But when their trust funds get depleted, the federal unemployment insurance law actually requires states to continue paying unemployment insurance benefits. So states with a depleted trust fund balance, what are they going to do? They can't stop paying benefits because it's a federal law that they continue paying benefits. So then what happens is, in order to bolster their trust fund balances, they borrow money from the federal government to make sure that the flow of unemployment insurance benefits is not interrupted. And they can also do other things like sell state bonds in order to be able to raise money. A lot of the federal UI loans that were given to states in 2020 are interest-free if they are repaid by the end of 2020. Interest begins to accrue for the states in 2021. And if the federal unemployment insurance loan, the balance, if there's still a loan balance in 2022, employers are required to make payments towards the outstanding federal loan balance in the form of federal unemployment insurance credit reduction. So in other words, the load will actually be shared. The burden will then be passed on to states and then through states over to the employers. I'll provide you with a link to this article in the description section below, so you can definitely check it out. Let me know what you think about this concern that states are running out of money. Now, again, let me be clear. States can borrow money from the federal government, but think about it. Your state is paying you federal unemployment, state unemployment benefits, potentially with an enhanced federal booster, the $300 a week, potentially, depending on whether they distribute it. But think about it. In many states, and I mentioned those states in the video below, the state is paying residents with money it does not have. The state is paying state unemployment insurance benefits with borrowed money from the federal government. By the way, the federal government is in debt by almost $25 trillion. So the federal government is borrowing money from itself. Okay, so let's just be clear about this. What is happening here is that Jerome Powell, who's the chairman of the Federal Reserve, so what the Federal Reserve does is it essentially prints money. It doesn't actually print money on paper because everything's digital these days. So it essentially creates a digital vault of money, if you will. It creates a digital amount of money, several $1 trillion. It then adds it to its balance sheet. It then lowers the interest rate because the Federal Reserve controls interest rates. Remember, the Federal Reserve is a lender. It's not a spender. The spender is the US Treasury, and the US Treasury can only spend money through an act of Congress. There, I just gave you like a quick constitutional money lesson right there. But again, the Federal Reserve is a lender. The US Treasury is the spender, but the US Treasury can only spend money that's been appropriated by Congress. And as you know, Congress is at a gridlock right now, which is why the president had to go and do an executive order, which is essentially rerouting of money. The Lost Wages Assistance Program is essentially a rerouting of money because there was no congressional approval, because House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Mark Meadows are not best friends right now. I don't foresee them being best friends at any point in time in the near future, as far as I can tell. So that's where things stand right now, everybody. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about the current state of affairs. States borrowed money from the federal government, which is generating money that is borrowed from the future. That's where things stand right now. Thank you, everyone. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video on our channel. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. Please click like, please subscribe, please enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. I would really, really appreciate that. Also, like I said, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time. If you want to get alerts from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000, and you'll get added to a SMS list, and you can opt out at any time from the SMS list or the email list, which you can opt into if you agree to a quick disclaimer. Once again, please click like, please click subscribe below. I pulled off this video in one take with my new glasses. So here are my old glasses. So, let me know which ones you like. I can swap them around. But thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Please click like. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. That helps me and my team. It helps out the YouTube algorithm. And that's a way for you to reward the efforts that we put in on a regular basis to keep you informed during this unusual time. Once again, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. And I look forward to seeing you soon on Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.